Bitcoin has recently risen from about 38,000 all the way up to almost 53,000, captivating the world's attention and putting it solely on the cryptocurrency space. Things are getting excited, and the million-dollar question is, will this rally continue? What should we expect? In today's video, I'm going to give the latest and greatest. There's some information hot off the press happening in this chart right here, which might shock you a little bit. So I hope you're sitting down. Why do you think people get into crypto? I was curious, so I ran tons of surveys and I was shocked with the results. Turns out, it's not about getting rich quick or Lambo or even becoming a millionaire. The high majority of people wanted financial freedom, more time to travel, and no more worries about money. So I looked through the whole crypto stratosphere and nobody was teaching about this. Everyone was teaching how to get rich quick and Lambo. This became my life's mission and my sole purpose on planet Earth. And for the past 3 years, me and my team have put our blood, sweat, and tears into building the best membership site that will actually impact your life in a positive way. And today, we're opening the doors to you. Sign up today and get an exclusive trade alert for the month of March and an exclusive live video with me, plus cash giveaways. This is your moment to have a fresh new path. Let's do it together. Be a part of my inner circle. Sign up now and achieve that dream you've always dreamed of, financial freedom. CryptoCrewUniversity.com. Again, that's CryptoCrewUniversity.com. Limited time only. Now, let's get into it. We're on the Bitcoin US dollar index and we are on the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, there are some pretty major developments that are hot off the press. We're going to break it down into price action as well as the star of the show, the RSI, major developments happening here, as well as the bottom of our chart, the stochastic RSI. Lots of things happening, but let's start with price action. Price action, you see a very healthy run. Okay, what you saw prior is this big wick here. This was profit taking, which led us into this pivot low here, which this was a buying zone, right? This was a huge, look at this wick. This is a very bullish wick. And this was the week that I was having my baby. I had just had a baby girl. Thank you for everybody's support. In the announcement that I had my baby girl, I put this wick in there because this was a very bullish wick. This bullish wick brought us into this 53 zone, which the 53 zone is a major zone. For some people to say, hey, we're in the bull run and we never entered this kind of zone before, this is uncharted territories, that's completely wrong. When we base it just on the facts, we entered this zone every single cycle. Let me show you the facts. 2015, 2019, 2023, what we did all three times was we had this Fibonacci retracement, right? You can come over here to your tools, Fibonacci retracement. You go from the swing high to the swing low. What the hell does that mean? You go from the highest price to the lowest price. You click once here, you drag it, you click again at the lowest price, and just pop on these exact settings, right? 1, 2, and 3. And if you're on the log scale, you click down here and you'll be able to draw it just like this. And what you'll notice is every single time in phase 1 or 2, we get 6% above the top Fibonacci zone, the 0.78. 6%, precisely 6. It was exactly 6 with this candle in June in 2016. It was exactly 6% in this candle in June 2019, and it was exactly 6% so far in February 24, exactly 6% above here. Tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. So it happened precisely in the same fractal patterns. So for this time to be different, no, so far it's exactly the same. So we're met right now with some resistance at that zone. At the same time, we've got some divergence forming in the RSI. This is major divergence forming in the RSI. So what is divergence? Divergence is when you have price clearly making higher highs, right? We have a high here, we have another higher 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 high here. So not up for debate, just factual evidence, price is making higher highs. The indicator had a high here in December and made a lower high here in February. Whenever you have price doing the opposite of your indicator, that's divergence. There's either bullish divergence or bearish divergence. Now, for the record, we had this divergence forming back here at our market cycle. This was our first bottom. This was our second bottom. Price clearly going down, indicator clearly going up. That's bullish divergence. We talked about it on our channel. A little bit later in today's episode, I want to give the number one thing that helped me achieve large success in life. I want to give that tip at the end of the video. This, however, is bearish divergence, right? You can see it also when you scale down and you go to the smaller time frames, right? You can go to like the 5-day chart and you can see from here down to here, down to here. We're clearly making lower highs in the RSI while continuously making higher highs in price. Something's got to give, right? The only way for Bitcoin to avoid this, technically speaking, is for the RSI on the weekly chart to get above this pivot high, which is at about 84. The only way for the RSI to get above this pivot point of 84 is to literally come into this zone that we struggle with every single phase 2 of the bull. So we're in phase 2 of the bull right now. When you clearly articulate it with this chart, then you'll get a visual representation. Essentially what happens in the market is you have your market cycle bottom. The market cycle bottom has a clear level of resistance. That clear level of resistance, that market structure, we build phase 1 directly on top of there. And then we build phase 2 directly on top of the resistance of here, right? It's happened so far in every single cycle thus far for Bitcoin, right? We're near the top of this box here. We have yet to test the bottom. Again, as I mentioned many times, we could test it inside of phase 2 here. And if we don't, that'll be a big red flag for a very weak bull run. If we do test it, that's a very healthy sign. Either we're going to test it inside of this phase 2 or 2 years from now at our next market cycle bottom. Case in point right here. Right? We didn't come back and retest the structure, so we waited 2 years later and we retested it here with our market cycle bottom. We don't want that to happen because this was a very short-lived market cycle. We want a long, healthy market cycle, which we need to retest our market structure. Okay? So here we are today, and we're heading into that 84 zone. The only way to avoid the bearish divergence is to get above that 84 zone, which is asking quite a lot. What we would need on our side is momentum. And you look at the bottom of our screen, when you hear stochastic RSI, I want you to think momentum. The stochastic RSI ranges from that 0 level, right, up to that 100 level, right? And what we're at now is we're inside of this mid 60s level, and we did have a cross up. This was a red flag cross up, meaning we had the blue line on top as bullish. Anytime the blue line is on top, the price is generally going up. Anytime that the orange line is on top, price is generally going down. One red flag about this cross is it didn't happen below the 20 level. Now the 20 level is not just a magic number I pulled out of the hat. The human who invented the stochastic RSI literally says in the rules that they want you to follow is the crosses have to be below the 20 level. So this was not technically below the 20 level. And you may ask, well, that probably happens all the time, right? Well, pretty much 0 times in the past few years. You can see them all here. They all happen below the 20 level. So this was a bit of a red flag. So here we are, we still have momentum on our side. However, we're starting to see some structural differences in the stochastic RSI. And if you go down to even lower time frames, like let's just go to the 2-day chart, you can see the stochastic RSI has already crossed down, the momentum is heading down. Now on the weekly chart, that's why we're starting to see some curvature here. So if that 2-day continues to flush out and it continues to flush all the way down, we will potentially see a cross down here in the stochastic RSI before it gets to elevated levels, which again would flush out this bearish divergence. Okay, so we kind of have a storm brewing where Bitcoin definitely has a potential to avoid this bearish divergence, but as it stands now, it's looking like the divergence might be in the very, 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 very beginning stages of playing out. It's way too early to tell. We need more facts in the charts, but it's very noteworthy material. Now, here's what I want you to focus on as we continue through this week with Bitcoin. I want you to focus on where the RSI is and what is it doing relative to that high. I want you to focus on, are we still having this momentum, this bullish momentum happening? And I want you to focus on the 53. Anything that breaks above 53 is incredibly noteworthy material. Anything less is completely irrelevant. Case in point, the chart that I showed you earlier. 6% is exactly around the 53 area. We went 6% in 2019. We went 6% in this 2015 cycle. So we're right on schedule. We're right where we should be. The only thing that would be incredibly healthy for Bitcoin to do is retest its structure. What would help us retest our structure? A break of bearish divergence. What would help us avoid this bearish divergence altogether? The RSI getting above this yellow level, which is a tall task at the moment, but a possibility. However, it doesn't seem probable at the moment. Time will tell, and this is what I want you to watch with Bitcoin. I want to get to the number one thing that helped me achieve success in this life. So, many of you know I grew up with teenage parents. It was a rough time. Most people who have teenage parents grew up in their grandparents' house, which would probably make a lot of sense. But my teenage parents decided to move out of their parents' house, and we moved into like a little shack, and we lived on our own, and we battled welfare, et cetera, et cetera. And it was tough. And my whole life, everyone counted me out. Everyone doubted me. You know, I remember going to school and the teachers saying, "Oh, your dad is so-and-so?" And me being like, "Yeah." And they were being like, "Ooh." You know, my dad was a troublemaker. He got in a lot of street fights. He wasn't very educated, coming from a poor family, teenage dad. They already knew the writing was on the wall. And they always looked down on me. You know, there was a lot of wealthy people in the town I grew up in, and then there were a very small few people who really struggled, and they were, you know, we all lived in the same couple streets. And growing up in school, they called my streets Little Harlem, and everybody looked down on me. They all thought I would fail. They all thought I would amount to nothing. You know, just like my mom and dad, they thought for sure he's going to follow in the same footsteps and be just a piece of crap. And, you know, all odds were against us. You know, when you have teenage parents and you're battling welfare and you're living in a little shack, and then you go to school and everyone's like, "See, I told you, you're going to be just another idiot." And then you have guidance counselors telling you, you know, good luck, you're not going to amount to much. What I always had, which other people didn't, was a burning belief in myself. I remember laughing to myself like, wow, these people really don't know. You know, maybe I'm not the smartest kid in the school. Maybe I'm not going to go to Harvard. Maybe I'm not going to get a Yale degree. But I've got something else. I've got belief in myself. And I knew that I can outwork anybody. I knew that. I have an incredible work ethic, and nobody could mess with me with that. Yes, they could have been smarter and everything else, but work ethic, belief in themselves, not even close. I knew that. I knew I was going to do something, even though the whole world continuously was telling me I was not going to. I remember sitting down with my mom and being like, "Listen, when I get older, I'm going to be something big, and I'm going to take care of you." You know, and she kind of just, you know, laughed like, "Okay, honey, yeah, you know, keep dreaming." And I remember thinking, this is not a dream. Like, I will do this. Like, how do you not believe me? And it's not, you know, nothing against my mom. My mom is my best friend to this day. But coming from where she came from, she never knew anybody successful. In my whole lineage of family, we've never had anybody successful. So for her to have her son grow up in this kind of environment with welfare, teenage parents, and the whole world kind of telling me I'm just going to be another idiot and another statistic, what would she believe? Of course, she's going to believe her son will do cool things, but nothing on the level that I was discussing. So I would say the most important thing that you can do in your life, and if you're like me, they've doubted you. They've doubted you. They didn't think you could do it. They didn't think you could be where you want to be, and they didn't think you had it in you. But none of that matters. The only thing that actually matters is the belief in yourself. If it were the other way around, I would have been another piece of shit. That's what they told me I was going to be. That's what literally everybody said I was going to be. I didn't believe that. The only thing that matters is what you believe. And I believed I was going to do something big. I believed I was going to do it big, bigger than anyone in my family. I genuinely believed it. I didn't know how. Everybody, how are you going to do it? And I would be like, I don't know. And they would be like, haha, good luck. But you don't need to know how. Study anybody that's achieved a high level of success. They never knew how. All of the herd focuses on the how. That's why they fumble with all of these steps of how to do it. If you use all of your energy and effort and you put it to your end goal and you only think about that end goal and you manifest the end goal and you have belief in the end goal, the how is completely irrelevant. You will achieve it if you believe it. And to all the idiots that ask you how, you don't even need to answer them. They're not at your level. They're thinking the small steps in between. You're thinking the big step at the end. There's going to be one person to achieve it and everyone else will fail. The person who's focused on the end goal and has a burning belief in themselves, they will do it. I guarantee it. So that's what I want you to focus on. Get a burning belief in yourself. Don't look for approval from your husband or wife or parents or children or anybody. You got to believe it. Nothing else matters. If all of them believe in you and they're chanting and cheering you on every day, but you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to do it. I guarantee it. Believe in yourself and watch what happens. And again, for those people who like these ends of the videos, I do these, I've been doing them for years. I've told you time and time again, I know a lot about the charts. You watch me for the charts. I know way more about financial freedom. It's not even close. It's not even in the same category, which is why I developed the FFA. That's on another level. You want financial freedom. Nobody has taught you how to get it in your whole life. I'm standing in front of you, teaching you how to do it. Go sign up to the FFA. We don't open the doors often, but you will love it. It will change your life. I'll be there with you every step of the way, and it's going to be a memorable impact on your life, a fresh new path, and this is a moment you remember for a long time. So I'll see you on the inside. Peace and love to the fellow underdogs. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel, how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to 500,000, let's go.